The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Sicilian Corner, winner of the Italian Heritage Media Award, with your hosts, Tom Zappola and Mike Lamazzo.
Are we going to cover?
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true.
You're not
the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, covered. All right, so...
A little delayed.
You're delayed.
You're delayed.
You know, before we talk to our special guest, you need, and I repeat, you need to get in tune with what's going on around your life electronically.
No.
You need to.
I don't want to.
When you lose your electricity, what do you do?
My generator kicks on. What do you do?
Call the electric department. The hell you think I do? All right, listen.
Hey, we have an audience today.
Yeah, great. The two tomato guys.
Hey, it's an audience.
Hey,
you
listen.
know something? The numbers will grow. Be patient, Grasshopper. You're so impatient.
Listen to me. Listen
What's
to me.
the matter with
Listen to me, please.
The
Number
guy
one,
drove all the way from Wyndham up to your house to bring you tomatoes 2 years ago. Who would do that?
and I sold them on the side of the road, by the way.
That doesn't surprise me.
But anyway, all right, listen, we have a great show today. If you notice, we have a special guest sitting in between Mike and I. Now, a couple of weeks ago...
I'm glad there's no windows in this place.
Correct. A couple of weeks ago, we started talking, you and I started discussing an old friend of mine. His name was Enzo.
Enzo.
And Enzo owned a variety store in Lawrence called Enzo's Variety. Now, we're going to...
Whereabouts was it? What part of the city?
It's North Lawrence, up around the Oak Street area, up in that area, Elm Street, Oak Street area, Jackson Street area. Now, his real name is not Enzo, but because I got a phone call from his agent...
He has an agent.
He has an agent still. He said, I'm taking umbrage with the comments that you and Mike made regarding my life as an accountant.
He's not going to sue us.
I have no idea. So he said, I want to come in to be able to refute the crap that you guys disseminated out to the audience. And I said, Enzo, it wasn't crap. I witnessed it. I used to come into your store every day.
This is real.
Yeah. Right. And I educated you. I told you about Enzo the accountant, and there were some issues with the store that he ran the business out of. So I asked Enzo. Enzo asked if he could come in to refute. Enzo, I want to just shake your hand. Welcome.
Morning.
How are
Morning.
you?
Excellent.
Good. Enzo, I got to ask the question right out of the gate. You owned a variety store.
Yes.
Now,
What time frame are we in, first of all?
let's
create a picture here.
Well, you started there in what year?
1976.
And then you took over operations in what year?
1976. I started working before that part-time.
Okay, so we're not going to even mention the man that you bought the store from,
Right.
Eddie Abdul. We're not going to mention that. But with that being said,
He was a great man, by the way.
oh, you kidding me? I'll tell
He
you.
was like a father to me.
The old man?
Was. No, not the old man. Eddie himself.
Oh, Eddie was a great guy. Eddie kind of bailed us out a few times with situations.
Matter of fact, they used to be across the street.
I remember
Remember
that.
that? Across
Of
the
course
street?
I remember that.
Before he finally moved across the street from the gas station.
All right, so you took over the business,
Yep.
and you ran it a little differently than Eddie. Let's put it that way. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
You broadened your horizons.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something first. First of all, it was a thriving business, and that's why I bought it, because I worked there part-time.
So you knew.
So I knew. I worked there at night. I was working at Raytheon during the day, and I worked there at night.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
So,
Good for you.
And I did this for 3 years before he offered to.
Tommy was saying that you made sandwiches?
Great. So, yeah, let him finish. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah. I'm here to refute, not you. You're not here to ask questions. I'm here to do the refuting because I was a little upset about last time, so I want to clear my name a little bit.
So can I?
You can make your own decisions from what you heard
Fair
last
enough.
time.
You don't have to throw an attitude.
Fair enough. So can I ask you a question?
Listen, I told you I'm not going to sue. As long as I had my chance to come in here and
as long as you promise us that.
Exactly.
All right. So I used to walk into your store, and I look at a shelf. Toilet paper. Let's use toilet paper as an example. You'd have one here, and one here, and maybe one there. And you're talking a 6-foot shelf. Why?
Okay. So if you let me start from the beginning, this is years later. When I first took over, it was a thriving business.
Until you took over.
Across the street from the store was 3 tenement houses for blocks. It was an Italian, Lebanese neighborhood.
I got you.
Right, for 3 blocks, right? Coincidentally, for whatever reason, when I took over, a short time after that, redevelopment came in. And I didn't know this when I bought the store.
Okay.
Redevelopment came in, and they knocked everything down, all the 3 tenements.
What
They
a
bulldozed
shame.
from Jackson Street to Lawrence Street, you can see.
Past the high school.
Past
Yeah,
the high school. You
All
can
right.
see that. It was level. So when I first took over,
Urban
the business was booming.
Correct.
Matter of fact, to give you some quick things, at nighttime, Sunday nights, we used to get, this is when I first took over, we used to get in fresh Nissan American bread, fresh, 6 o'clock at night, they deliver.
Really?
People used to come in special just for that.
So what happened?
So then redevelopment came, and I had to change my way of doing things.
So in other words, hold on.
I had to reassess.
So business went down.
Big time.
So business went down. So you had to recreate
and
your
reassess
business
how
plan.
I was going to do things. Originally, when the business was booming, I was buying from a distributor. Yeah, they'd come in, tractor trailer would come in at thousands of dollars and stock the
So
Tractor trailer, was it?
Tractor trailer, absolutely.
So this is when you decide to go to accounting school.
So I had to reassess about how to pay the rent, obviously. I had to change things around. So, and also,
You know what's funny too? My father used to go in there. Like my father didn't go in often,
I'm sure.
but then all of a sudden he started living there. Just thought I'd throw that out.
so as business went down, I couldn't order tractor trailers anymore. So I had to start buying from different areas in different parts and do different things differently.
Through the gray market.
Like the hostess cupcake guy, when he pulled up to fill the shelves, he used to buy special things for me, like bananas, and we used to bring them in, and I put the bananas on sale for 20. I put a big sign in the window, 25 cents a pound. At that time, which was Demoulas, not Market Basket, Demoulas was selling them for 39 cents a pound, and I put a big sign in the window.
So where did he get the bananas?
I don't ask questions. I paid him. I paid for them. Whatever he wanted,
So
I paid
hold
for
on.
it.
So
That's just one example.
All right. So let me get this
So
straight.
it depends on what he brought in that week.
So let me get this straight. So the bread guy would deliver other goods to you.
Yes.
And by the way, I remember him. Nice guy. Is he still alive?
No.
Oh, nice guy.
And I paid.
Lebanese,
and I
right?
Paid, no.
Armenian.
No.
Wasn't he?
He was Italian.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I paid for everything that he brought. I paid him for. I don't know if we made slips, but I paid him for everything.
I don't think you made slips.
No, listen. There was no computers in those days either, right? So like you
Everything out of your pocket. Everything out of his pocket.
Everything was a cash business. There was no checks. Everything was a cash business.
All right.
My cash
I
register.
understand.
My cash register didn't work.
It didn't work.
So
You
I
had
had
to
keep.
put the paper in
No,
to get the,
it didn't.
get the receipt.
It was broken.
It was broken. All right.
You know what he used to do?
Just so I know.
Just so you understand this. I can remember this. You walk in, you buy a Coke. Put the Coke on, pay him. he'd ring the cash register.
No sale.
No sale.
No sale. And then put the money in his pocket. The pocket.
No.
I know.
I always went in the register. No, I'm going to speak the truth here. I'm not going to make up anything. I'm going to speak the truth as long as I'm protected on camera. I'm speaking the truth. I pressed no sale, and I kept the register open a little bit like this so I don't have to keep opening and
Right.
closing.
Oh,
A
too
lot
much
of
work.
people do that. A lot
Too
of
much
people do
work.
It's a
that.
transaction. If you open it, transaction.
Too much work. All right. So again, you got into the accounting business. Now, you initially didn't you have a partner in the
Yes.
accounting business?
Yeah, but he was a silent partner. He didn't work. He didn't come. He would come maybe late afternoon, early evenings. He would show up at the store and he would help out a little bit in case I needed a break or in case I was busy on the phone answering. Because I used to answer the phone because I used to do it. You talked
How did
about.
you answer the
wait a
phone?
minute. You talked about the sub
Enzo,
business.
how did you
because-
answer the phone? Like
listen,
when you answered the phone, what did you say?
I can tell you
I didn't ask you.
how much you want to put down.
I didn't ask you.
I'm sorry.
Please.
when I answered the phone, Enzo's Variety. Can I help you?
Okay.
That's how I answered all the phone calls.
Okay, but then they would ask you certain questions about whether not what.
And
not,
a lot of times, it was sub business. We had great sub business. You would mention
His
that at
subs
the
were
beginning,
great.
and they used to call in ahead of time, and I used to have to make
but
sure they'd be coming down.
what percentage of calls? What was that percentage?
I don't know,
Ten-
maybe 50-50.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
So-
60-40, depending on the week and time of year.
If the Breeders' Cup was happening, right? All right. So you would get a phone call, and again, why?
I'd have to take all orders by pieces of paper because there's no computers in those days.
No, I understand.
No iPads, no
Well,
nothing.
why didn't you at least put extra goods on your shelf?
Okay, so like I said, redevelopment came, so business was kind of way off.
So you could only put on what he had to offer you.
I had to go out and I had to source things out on my own, what I could make a profit on, a good profit on. So I decided instead of filling the shelf, now if you go to Market Basket nowadays, right? As a matter of fact, I was there the other night. What they do, instead of what I did, the shelves were bare, they just stick anything in. They put 100,000 cases of water on something that they don't have, they just cover it with water. It doesn't belong there, but they cover it with water. I didn't have that kind of money to put something else in its place. So obviously, sometimes I'd have to go out into Market Basket. If they had the soups on sale, 5 for $1, I'd have to go buy 15 cans or something. And I put them on the shelf, and hopefully that would last a couple of weeks.
Sure.
So you put 15 cans, you'd have to spread it out a little bit because before that, I would buy 3 cases, which is 36 cans. So now I'm buying half of it, and
You have to spread it out.
Because you lost all the tenants in those 3 decades.
yeah, exactly. So now people, because I lost the tenants, they weren't coming in every day to do shopping like they were when the tenants were there.
Which makes sense.
Right? It would be more of a drive-up business. Come in, get something real quick, sandwich,
Cigarettes or whatever.
cigarettes, soda, coffee, whatever. More of a drive-by business. Come in and transaction business. Fast transaction business.
All right. So I got to ask you this question. So now you have a business that's not doing well, yet I walk in one afternoon and you were driving initially like a 1964 Chevy, well, 65 Chevy, whatever the hell it was.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're driving a 1980 Cadillac. Now, just out of curiosity, and not only that, but didn't you mention something about him building a house?
I believe you were in the process.
I did. I built the house. Again,
Brand new.
Brand new. Because, and I'll tell you why. My father-in-law gave us a piece of land, and he says, here's the land. You don't have to pay me for it. You could just build a house.
That's a good story.
So
No, that's good. That was good. Very quick. Very quick.
I built the house on
Inheritance covers a lot of sins.
So all I had to do was, and then my brother knew a contractor.
Yeah, there
so
we go.
So we kind of.
And he knew a lumber supplier.
I'll tell you a good story. When I was building the house, all right, it was way up on House Street. All right,
I was there.
Remember? So when they were doing redevelopment across the street, there was trucks going in and out, taking the fill out, and there was hundreds of trucks going by.
I can imagine.
So and the guys used to come in for coffee and for sandwiches.
Yeah.
So this one guy come in, and I saw he was the boss.
You had a little extra hot top left over?
So listen, you're gonna like this. So I said to him, hey, where are those trucks going? He goes, me, we got to drive all the way to Haverhill to drop the thing and come all the way back. Time consuming. I says to him, can I talk to you for a second in the back? He says, yeah. So my father was this. I says, Dad, watch the register for a second. I want to talk to the guy. So I took him. I says, maybe we can talk a little deal here. He says, what's that? I says, well, I'm building a house about 2 miles down the street, and I need a ton of fill because my land was like this.
Yeah.
So he says, okay, can we take a ride up there and look at it? Yeah, let's go. Get in the car. We go up. So he says, how many loads do you think? I says, I don't know. I'm not a builder. I don't know. I says, but I'll take as many as you can get this land level, whatever it takes. He says, I got that much. So I says, okay.
And you're saving him money.
Yeah, he says, you can save me a ton of money. I don't have to drive to Haverhill. I can get this done. I can get it done faster. I says, okay, but it depends on how much. He says, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow. So he came back in tomorrow for the next day for a sandwich. I says, so you're going to get my fill? He says, yeah, the first truck will be there tomorrow. He says, make sure you got to go up there and you got to get somebody, as it comes in, they got to push it, spread it. I said, okay, I'll get somebody to be there. So he says, can I talk to you in the back? So he says,
Notice how everything takes place in the back room.
Back room.
All transactions take place in the back
so
room.
he says, give me $2,000.
How much?
$2,000, and I'll give you as much fill. You tell me when to stop. I don't care if it's 500 loads. You tell me when to
So,
stop.
of course, they never stopped because he gave the rest of the Merrimack Valley Golf Course and made himself a ton of money there.
So I gave him. Next day, I says, come in tomorrow, and I'll give you the money. Next day, I gave him the money, and he says, okay. And he brought, I don't know how many loads, probably 300.
You know,
At least. Because we made the land that went like this,
it made a level.
level,
I've got a
half
question.
an acre.
I've got a question, getting back to the accounting business a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I used to spend a lot of time in the store because you always made phenomenal sandwiches, and they were tremendous. But I used to notice that every once in a while, like once I was in there and a policeman walked in, and I remember you kind of walking to the back room and you started eating little pieces of paper. Now,
That was just a bad habit. You can ask my ex-wife about that. That was a bad habit of mine. I always used to tear a piece of paper off and chew like gum. I'd keep it in my mouth. That was a bad habit of mine. I was like that for many years. My wife used to always yell at me about that.
This is what you're
Now,
going to
speaking about the
This is what you're going to stay with.
I was very close with the policemen in the city. I had
hold on.
a lot of great
Extremely.
friends.
They had a lot of sandwiches.
Yeah, they did. They knew. And I never charged them.
No.
I never charged them for a sandwich.
So
they knew they'd come in, and then the firemen started to come in also, and I wouldn't charge them either.
So your customer base was very limited, from what if I remember. It was a very limited base. However, your base consisted of firemen, policemen, politicians, a few politicians.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of
Yeah,
politicians.
because they wanted to put signs in the window when they ran for office.
That's when they had selectmen.
Yeah, that's when they had. Yeah, absolutely.
So what happened? I mean, can you tell us? Let's fast forward. Why did you stop the accounting business?
Okay. So it's all the paperwork. I had a ton of paperwork. So one day,
A lot of paperwork.
One day, these 3 cops came in that I didn't.
Well, they weren't.
I didn't recognize
Right,
them.
they
weren't Lawrence cops for some reason. So we started talking, and he says, "Man, I noticed you got a lot of paperwork up here. Maybe we can help you consolidate it a little bit and store it, file it for you and keep it organized." And I said, "That'd be a great idea." So they did. He says, "Let me just look around a little bit." He looked around, went in the back, he checked things out. He says, "Okay, let me just gather up this paperwork. I'll store it for you. We'll file it
Put it in
away."
a few boxes.
Yeah, he did. He had a box. He said, "We'll put them in the box." I said, "That'd be great." So and then this one guy, they were about to leave. And he says, before I leave, he says, "I got to take your picture." I says, "For what?" I'm behind the counter. He says, he says, "Well, for goodwill." He says, "I just want to take your picture too."
You bought into this?
This is a true story, as God is my judge. He says, "Okay, so just stand behind the counter and smile." I smiled. He took my picture. And he says, "Have a nice day. I'll store your things and we'll be in touch."
You didn't have a placard in front of you?
No, nothing.
This is just like that. It happened just like that, honest to God. Now, at the same time, little did I know that 2 other people visited my house, and my wife was there.
At the same
At
time.
the same time. And they said the same thing. They said, "We're just coming here to grab some paperwork so we can consolidate it and store it away." They came in with a box.
We're part of his accounting firm.
Right. So we're going to store it away. And she says, "Come on in." She made them coffee.
Have a piece of cake.
Yeah. And because I also knew one of them, and he also knew me, and he knew my wife. I don't know if you know him.
I do.
Yeah. So So they left, and before they left, they didn't take a picture of her. They took a picture of the house. I don't know why. They just wanted to take a picture of the house. So
I know why.
all right. So now let's stay that same day. So they leave. All right. About 2 hours later, now the store's open. I mean, I'm open. No problem. Business as usual. About 5 o'clock. This happened about 2 o'clock. About 5 o'clock, these two guys come in. One guy came in with his glasses. Another guy comes in with a camera on his back.
No.
And I says,
Oh, yeah.
He comes up to the counter and I says, can I help you?
Oh, yeah.
He says, I says, can I help you? He says, yeah. He's looking around. And I says, I'm going to say it again. Can I help you? So, and the guy's I says, and what's that guy got the camera on for? Shut that camera off. Can I help you?
You're getting a lot of laughs. That's all I'm saying.
So I says, can I shut that camera off? Can I help you? And he says, somebody told me that somebody was here and they were collecting paperwork and stuff.
We're going to run a little over, but we want to do this.
Yeah. I says, look, I don't know what you're talking about. So either buy something or get the hell out. Just right there. So he said, and he was stunned. And the guy's name, I'm going to mention because he died now. He was from Channel 7, R.D. Saul.
Right.
If you remember.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And the cameraman. So I said, I'm going to say it one more time. Get that camera, shut that camera off, and get out. And he just standing there. So I went around the counter. I said, you're going to get out either peacefully or I'm going to throw you out. So they went out, and he went outside. So as he went through the door, the cameraman, because he couldn't film anything inside, he turned around, he started filming the outside of the building just to say where he visited that day.
Sure, to make a story.
Yeah. So at 6 o'clock, on the 6 o'clock news came on, they put the thing at the store.
And guess
Free
who?
publicity.
Guess who
Yeah,
gets a
great
phone
publicity.
call? Guess
Yeah.
who gets a phone call?
We visited Enzo's Variety today, and it was a pleasant situation, and there was nobody there. We had a great time, and they showed it on Channel 7.
And of course, I get a call from my mother. Why is Enzo's on TV? All right, so let's.
And then the next day in the newspaper, the Lawrence Eagle Tribune, on page 2, they had a picture of my house and a picture of my store again. And I'm saying, why? They just did a nice write-up on it, and I thought it was good publicity. As a matter of fact, the business picked up after that.
Did it?
It did.
Needless to say, you moved on.
We moved on. Yeah.
And you've done very well for yourself.
Not because of the store.
Oh, God, no. Enzo, all kidding aside, I appreciate the fact that you came in today.
So sometimes things, my point is, sometimes things are not always how they look.
Correct.
There's always, you have to
and you
see
set
the other
it
side of
straight.
the story.
You set us straight today.
Absolutely.
Before we take a break, I do want to say, yes, you really were good to me when it came to sandwiches, because I think over the course of a year, you charged me $10 for about 200 sandwiches. Every day. Well, not every day, but like 3 days a week.
I probably gave away more sandwiches than I sold.
There's one other thing.
And I believe that.
Yeah, I really
There's
do.
one other thing before
One
we
hand
take a break.
washes the other.
There's one other thing. I'll never forget this as long as I live. And he's deceased now. And he was a customer of Enzo's. The late great Nello Strocchio. Now Nello and his wife happened to hit
$37 million.
$37 million. They hit megabucks. And he used to hang out at Wayne's every single
No
day
kidding.
because he was a customer and he used to hang out there.
There was a bunch of guys, old
Right.
retired guys.
And I'll
they'd
never
hang out.
forget, I was in there, and your brother Gary was in there with me.
Let me interrupt.
Go ahead.
So Nello and his wife, I had the lottery at that time.
Correct.
The lottery machine. So he would, amongst other people, he would leave his numbers in the drawer every day, like probably 10 other people. Every week he says, run my numbers, then when I come in, I'll just pay you. They had the same set of numbers every week. Okay. Thursday morning, you come in from last night's megabucks, here's the $5, whatever. So one morning, at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday morning, the phone rings. And it's Mrs. Strocchio. I said, hello. She says, yeah, Wayne, this is Mrs. Strocchio. Hi, how are you? Can I help you with something at 7 o'clock in the morning? Well, I just wanted to tell you, so you'd be the first to know that we hit the lottery. I said, excuse me? Yeah, she says, I feel very, very, very bad that it wasn't at your store.
They bought it at
She says, I
Barcelos.
bought it at Barcelos in Methuen. She says, but don't worry, I'm going to bake you some cookies, and I'm going to bring some cookies down. And she said, we're on our way.
$37 million.
$37 million. And by the way, I never got the cookies.
But so listen, before we take a break, I know we're running over. I'm in the store, and Gary's in there, and Nello's hanging out. Now, this is after, it's all over the news. They hit it for $37 million, and it was the fall. And your brother came out with the best line of all time. Nello is like, he's pacing back and forth. He says, Jesus Christ, I got to get home. I got to rake my leaves. Gary Peters looks at him. He says, Nello, with your money,
million.
you can hire someone to catch the leaves as they're falling off the tree.
And he also says, he was waiting for the bus, by the way.
Right, that's right.
He also says, if I was you, when the bus is coming by, go out there and flag them down and say, here's 500. Everybody off the bus. I'm taking over the bus. Now drive me to my house.
All right, listen.
Instead, my brother had to give him a ride home, by the way.
Exactly. Enzo, thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
All right, listen, we're going to take a break.
Interesting story.
When we come back, we have another guest coming in. My oldest and dearest friend from the neighborhood, Wayne Peters, is going to be joining us. Half Italian, half Lebanese, but he grew up in a very Italian neighborhood. We all did, and we're going to talk about the old neighborhood. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
There you go.
Looking for that something special? All of us here at the Sicilian Corner suggest trying Ristorante Uno, located at 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. For the most exquisite dining experience in an intimate setting that serves authentic regional Italian cuisine and features old country service. Try Ristorante Uno. Did we mention their award-winning wine cellar? Ristorante Uno, 119 Salem Street in Boston's historic North End. Call 617-573-9406 for reservations. That's 617-573-9406. Tell them the boys from the Sicilian Corner sent you.
Today, Lawrence General Hospital has affiliations with leading Boston academic medical centers. Top specialists from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center work with our local doctors to bring world-class care close to home. Today, amazing partnerships are happening at Lawrence General Hospital. To learn more, visit lawrencegeneral.org/today.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine is pleased to announce the opening of their American College of Radiology accredited MRI unit at their location at 16 Pelham Road in Salem, New Hampshire. So now, in addition to receiving the best orthopedic care in the Merrimack Valley, as well as physical and occupational therapy at Optima Sports Therapy and Rehab, you can also have your MRI, all in one convenient location. The doctors and staff of Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine have been dedicated to providing outstanding medical care to the Merrimack Valley in southern New Hampshire since 1984. Located on Route 97, just off Exit 2 from Route 93 North, on the second floor of the Workout Club of Salem. You deserve the best care, and that's exactly what you'll get from the board-certified surgeons at Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine. Please call 603-898-2244 to schedule an appointment.
A loyal sponsor for the Sicilian Corner is Hilton Oil Company. Hilton Oil has been located right across from the South Lawrence Common since 1932 at 101 South Union Street. Hilton Oil Company specializes in 24-hour burner service, oil deliveries, including automatic deliveries serving all the Merrimack Valley area, plus portions of southern New Hampshire. If you want your car fixed right the first time, bring it to Hilton's state-of-the-art service station. Remember, Hilton's is also a Mass State Inspection Station. Hilton Oil Company, 101 South Union Street in Lawrence. Call 978-687-9793.
This is Cindy,
and Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts,
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
Okay, we are back and in the house. Wayne, nice to see you.
Nice to see you guys.
Good friend, one of our
All right, buddy.
old friend, Wayne Peters. Wayne is one of my oldest, dearest friends. We've known each other for 68 years, right?
Imagine that, 68 years.
68 years. We grew up next door to each other. Wayne's family grew up in the tenement next door to me. And then moved, how old were you? About 6 when you moved?
Yeah, about 5 houses down.
5 houses down the
119.
street. 119 Havel Street.
You're half Lebanese and half Italian.
My father was Lebanese and my mother's Italian.
Good combo.
In the house, where did it tilt as far as eating?
It was more Italian because
you were right on the edge, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
The Lebanese district was right down the street.
But it didn't matter. It goes by your family. Our family was more Italian dominated. My mother had 4 sisters and a brother. My father had just 2 brothers and 1 sister, but we didn't see them that much.
Yeah,
We would only see them on holidays. But on the Italian side, my aunts, we would see them all the time. They'd be at our house, at his house.
No, I get it.
I'd be at Tommy's house
I get it.
every day. Tommy's mother was like my second mother, and vice versa. You know, we have a lot of great
I mean,
stories
his mother
growing
was.
up.
My mother was not afraid to whack him on the head. And his
Exactly,
mother was
yeah.
not afraid to whack me.
I got whacked many a times by his
Exactly.
mother.
And they weren't afraid. I mean, that's just the way it was. But
You had a lot of eyes looking at you.
Oh, absolutely.
you know something? I mean, and Mike, I know that you grew up in South Lawrence, and so it was a little different because
Totally.
it was totally different. But Wayne.
We were the token Italian for many years.
Yeah, which is interesting. Before we talked to Wayne about it, what was the reason that your family settled there and not in the Italian area? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know the story behind the story, but my granddad lived in a tenement on South Union Street. So I think that was the beginning of the South Lawrence gig. And
I always wondered that too. I always wondered.
yeah,
why,
and I was born on Abbott Street.
Right.
And then when I was 3 or 4, we moved to Exeter. And
so it was always South Lawrence.
It was always South Lawrence. And then they built the Veterans Housing Projects, which back then was people
nice.
took care of their property.
Oh, of course. It's
I
like
mean, they cut. I can't say a bad thing. It was just
same as how we grew up.
Guess what happened? Out of the 500 and some odd apartments that went in on both sides, we had quite a few names that ended in a vowel, which was wonderful for
So there were a lot of Italians
that moved in. Yeah, once they built the Veterans House.
What was the ratio, Mike, between Italians and
when
Irish?
I first moved there?
Right.
Yeah.
I was the only one on Exeter Street.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it was Irish stronghold,
and that's funny.
So that's totally different.
It's totally different.
It was complete. That's what I'm saying. Flip flop.
I mean, there was not. Other than the Peters and Danny Mahoney, but he was allowed Donnie because he was adopted.
Exactly. Yeah, Donnie.
Everybody was Italian. And by the way, for our viewers and listeners, we're expanding our platform, as we've said. We'd love you to go to YouTube and subscribe to the Sicilian Corner YouTube channel now. You can go in and subscribe. And then we're also...
What's involved in that?
All you do is you go to YouTube, you type in the Sicilian Corner, and right next to the video, it says subscribe. Just click on subscribe.
So you'll get notifications. The more people that subscribe to it, the better it is for our show.
Well, I mean, they'll get notifications that the show is coming on. All of that nice stuff.
That's good.
And then
even I can do that, right?
That's
my
questionable.
limited.
That's very questionable.
Well, yeah, you're gonna have to be taught.
Very questionable. Very questionable. But anyway, if you can do that, we'd appreciate it because we really want to build up our viewing base. And David's going to do a little research because I understand through this lovely associate producer that we are now on iTunes, and David will he's going to kind of explain to me this week how to do it because I'm a little slow. We'll
get the terminology down for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway,
this is my first time here, so it's great.
What do you think?
Great studio. It's a little cool. If I knew that, I would have put my jacket on. And I would have worn my jacket. But Next time.
Next time.
I come, I'll wear my jacket.
All right.
I think Enzo borrowed it.
All right. All right, let's get down to the Italian neighborhood. You know,
Enzo borrowed it.
I saw him.
Did you see him go out?
I did.
Yeah, he stole his jacket. The guy can't be trusted.
He probably did.
Gone.
All right, so one thing about...
somebody check.
One thing about that neighborhood that always not intrigued me, but that we were very fortunate was literally in that 3 square block area, there was not one thing we didn't have relative to grocery stores. We had Chauffelos, we had Catalanos, a fish market.
Yep.
Like literally 50 yards from my house, your house, a fish market.
The original Napoli's pizza.
How many pizza joints? Napoli's, Tripoli's, Stramondo's,
that was
Jackson Pizza.
Jackson Bowling
Drum. We had a bowling alley. We had how many pharmacies? Right?
Calderones.
I'll never forget, David and Chrissy, you can appreciate this. I mean, because, we're a little, not risque the way we talk, but I'll never forget the late, great Ned Leone, who was my first partner here. He owned Leone's
Pharmacy.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm 17 years old. And I walk in to buy my first condom.
Uh-huh.
And so Mr.
What did you say? Extra large?
No. You just blew it. Mr. Leone walks up.
How do I know what you're thinking?
I said to Mr. Leone, he says, I'd like a condom, please. And he, nice, because he knew who I was, knew my father. Loud so everybody could hear it.
What size?
What size? I turned around and walked out the door.
I never heard this story either.
Walked out the door. I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Wow.
But anyways, we had pharmacies. Yep. We had a hospital, Lawrence General Hospital, right around the corner. Yep. Shoe stores, right?
Yeah. Jackson Shoe Store was right on Jackson Street.
And Giolongo's. Right?
Yeah.
We had...
how about the record stores?
Down the
that
street.
was on Essex Street. Yeah.
Toontown.
Right, well, you had one at the Common in Jackson.
And we had the original Boys Club.
Boys Club right around the corner.
I played basketball there.
I mean, we had everything was right at our fingertips. I mean, my father literally would do 90% of our, I mean, this is I know Market Basket, Demoulas was there, but my father, God rest his soul, did 90% of our shopping right within 500 yards of our house.
My family the same way.
Go to Catalano's or to Chauffeul's for their groceries.
Yeah. And the meats. My mother used to call Chauffeul's ahead of time.
Cut veal chops off a rack right in front of you.
Right.
And then he put them at the packages right in the thing display, and he'd write your name on it, Peters.
Right.
And he'd leave it there. So
Nikki,
you can pick it up anytime you want. You don't even have to ask. Just walk in, grab the packages of Peters, and check out.
Nikki, Gus Catalano, Nikki Catalano,
sure.
that whole crew. I mean, they were fantastic. And then every Friday night, my father, Ganges Fish and Chips.
Yep.
Fish
Friday
and chips.
Fish and chips.
We see in South Lawrence we had Lantford.
Oh yeah,
on South Union Street.
Yeah.
And they used to wrap the fried fish in the newspaper. Man.
And that's how they used to do it.
That's how Ganges used to do it.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, that was.
And there was
1 week. 1 week would be Napoli's pizza. 1 week it would be the fried fish.
Yeah, we were always Tripoli's.
But Ganges, I mean, the wait just to get in there.
I know.
On Friday nights,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. Yeah. And then, of course, we had...
We were the errand boys, by the way. I mean, we had to go
We're the ones who had...
We had to go to Catalano.
But you didn't go to Holy Rosary, or did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And then we had Eddie's Variety. We had Petrea's Variety.
Yep.
We had our own barbershop, Tony Teresi, right down the street. That we'd get a haircut.
What was the other guy?
Pat, I can't remember his last name.
I can't
He was down the street.
Down a little further. Across from Jackson Bowling.
Correct. I can't remember his name.
That's one place I never went into, Jackson Bowling.
Well,
we had the stadium lanes in South Lawrence, and it was brand new.
Yeah.
And that was our hangout.
Well, we used to go to, then we had the pool rooms, and we used to go to Finno's.
Next to Jackson Bowling was Jackson Pizza.
Yeah.
So
that was Ralph Borghini's place.
Ralph Borghini's place.
Okay.
Yeah. So we used to go bowling and go next door for a pizza or vice versa.
You know what? I used to, Dave Delvicari and I, on Fridays, you know what we used to go have? A dish of homemade tripe. He made the best homemade tripe.
That's one thing for me.
I know, you have to acquire a taste for it.
I didn't like it either.
I don't.
You have to definitely, but I loved it. I know you didn't like it. And the other thing, we had so many, as I said.
Chrissy doesn't like it. You didn't have tripe in
Chrissy's
Australia.
not tried it, to be honest, but even the name.
I know. And
Tripe
it's
is not
like
a nice
eating a
sounding
sponge.
word.
You've got to try it. You got to try
The
it.
sauce is good, though.
Okay.
The sauce is good.
It's wonderful.
If you can beat the smell, then
That's it.
But anyway,
and I bet in your neighborhood, Tommy, nobody locked their
just
doors.
because he's older than I am, don't say it's his neighborhood.
I'm a year older than him.
Nobody locked.
We never locked our doors. Never locked our doors. And we had, we're 7, 8, 9 years old, and we had free run. Our parents gave us free run of the block that we lived on, the block across the street that Holy Rosary was on, and the block that your new house was on.
Yep.
Those 3 blocks, and actually all the way down to Summer Street and Garden Street. Yep. In the summertime,
It was all Italian. Everybody was outside.
at 8 o'clock at night, they didn't know where we were except my father. Again, God rest his soul. He had this shrill whistle. At 8:30,
you could hear it.
I could be 4 blocks away. He'd step out on the stoop.
Yep.
Gotta go.
Yep.
Gotta go.
Matter of fact, we used to play that game. I can't think of the game.
Wolf.
Wolf. And you'd hide. It's
Wait a
called,
minute. What is it?
It's called Wolf. And you'd
Now, I never played that as a kid, but there's, I'm a decade older than you guys.
you would have to hide. It's like almost like hide and go seek, something like
Why
that.
did you call it hide and go
No,
seek?
because it
We
was a
called
little different. It was a little
called it
different.
Wolf. And you would hide in people's yards. This is a true story. Anybody's yard, you can go and hide behind
Within
the barrels.
5 blocks.
Anywhere.
But
you can
there
go in the
wouldn't be-
doorway.
there-
You
there
can
would-
go in the doorway.
So
anything.
you had somebody looking for you.
There wouldn't
Yeah,
be
they'd be
2
looking
people
for you.
playing. You're talking 10 or 15
10 guys
10 or 15 kids playing.
Yeah.
And the premise of it was, the way it started is Wayne's the wolf. He's the first wolf. Everybody scatters and hides.
You had to go find
had to
it.
go
So
find
now Wayne has to find one. When he grabs somebody, he says wolf.
Yep.
Nobody else knows that now you're a wolf.
Yep.
So everybody stayed away from everybody else.
But my point was, you could go
Oh,
hide
that's cool.
anywhere.
Now, I never heard of that
My
before.
point was, you can go hide anywhere in anybody's yard, porch.
Under the
Nobody
stoops,
said nothing.
no one cared.
Yeah, nobody cared.
To our audience, anybody ever play that as a kid, Peter? Roger? No?
Great game.
I never heard of
Great game.
It was probably our neighborhood game.
And you know what the other thing was? That we had a lot of characters. Again, we're going to take a break. I know we're running a little late. We're going to take a break in about 2 minutes. We had a lot of characters in that neighborhood.
One of them in particular.
Well, people that weren't all there, to be honest with you. People that were not all there. And, of course, as kids, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kids, we used to kind of
Egg them on a little
egg
bit.
them on a little bit. We had this one guy, his name was, we used to call him Baggy Pants. Now, Baggy Pants was a track star when he was a kid, maybe at Lawrence High. He was a track star. And
Could have been Central.
and
Why
he-
you knocking
whatever.
Lawrence High?
But he had a drinking problem.
Yeah.
He had a drinking problem, so he would hang out at Bill Peters' Cafe, and happened to be Wayne's father's bar. And he would drink
Your father
there.
had a bar?
Absolutely.
He
Was
would-
that the one on Essex Street?
Amesbury and Canal. Amesbury
Oh,
and Canal.
at the corner.
okay, yeah.
The corner.
So Baggy Pants would, get a little inebriated, and then he'd go walking by the house, and we yell out, "Baggy Pants!"
But most of the time, he'd be walking across the street, so we knew we're distance
there was a
away from-
buffer.
There was a buffer zone.
But the guy was probably 65, but could run like a 14-year-old.
Yeah, because as soon as he heard the name,
he would start.
he'd start chasing you.
And I'm talking chasing us up fences, over fences, under. It was like amazing. And there was a couple of guys like that in the neighborhood. There was this one woman, God rest her soul.
How about nicknames, Tommy? Did you
Baggy
have-
Pants, Contact,
Contact?
Khrushchev.
Who was Contact?
He was a guy that used to wear a cap like me, and he was a little off. So he would hang around down the corner. I don't know why they called him Contact, but as soon as they called him Contact, he'd start chasing
They go,
you.
You
Contact.
mentioned Ned Leone.
Yeah.
Ned had a friend. The guy's name was Flywheel. Flywheel? How? I can't even associate something.
Well, hold on.
Flywheel.
There's again. I know we're running up against it. There was one other guy that Ned and I talked about. His name was Shardy Camarada. Shardy Camarada was the worst in our neighborhood. We used to call him Charlie. About 4 feet tall, and had a cane. And he would throw the cane at you. He would throw the cane at you and start chasing us. So one day, him and I are walking down the street, and Charlie, you have to egg him on. He throws the cane. We take the cane.
Wow. See, now in South Lawrence, just what you're saying, some of the things that went on, we used to sneak across the Shawshene River into North Andover, and it was all farms in that area. And this one farmer, he had the best corn, the best tomatoes. They were like this. We would go and hit that farm at night. This guy had a shotgun, and he loaded it full of rock salt. One day, I was never so sore in my life. I couldn't sit for about a week.
That he's got us beat there.
Exactly. All right, listen, we're going to take a break. Wayne Peters in the house. I know we're running a little late, but we have a few minutes to come back. There's a couple of other things.
Can you stick around?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and we can never agree. Tom likes the casual family-style dining with great Italian cuisine, Capri Seaside Italian Grill. Me, I love the elegant romantic vibe, Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu with prices that'll make it the place you want to visit every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of an even cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites, and the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Music Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all these great places, and they treat everyone like they're Mike Lamazzo. And best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once and all of this fun is right at your fingertips. We can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out about all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at northshorepavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler,
owners of Grazie Italian Restaurant in Dracut, Massachusetts.
the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
In addition to spectacular views overlooking our golf course, we have an incredible Italian chef, Benny Curti.
Benny was born and raised in Italy and came to be our executive chef in 2013.
Benny is so passionate about cooking. If you haven't experienced the food at Grazie Italian Restaurant, you're truly in for a treat.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club.
Okay, we're back. You know, Karen Patera just, she's making a good point. She says there was nothing like growing up in that neighborhood. She grew up right down the street from us. And she says, I was so sad when we moved to West Methuen. I had such a crush on that girl. Karen. She was in 8th grade. I was in 7th grade. She was like the nicest looking chick at Holy Rosary. And
she's very attractive.
I was afraid to talk to her. I was afraid.
Did you put your hand up?
No, I was like, I stayed away from her. I was afraid of her. But man, she was...
Mike, we got to tell you a story about this.
Go ahead.
When we first, I don't know how old you were, 7, I was 6 or whatever. So we used to sneak.
Oh, no, I was about 8 and 9, and you were about 8, and this little kid was a lot younger.
We used to go down the alley. All right, right next to our house, to go down the alley.
The alleys were your playground.
Yeah, that was.
There was L&M Bakery was there, and I forget what else. There was a little passageway there. And we would have somebody buy a pack of cigarettes for us, and we'd go down there in the little.
And we always the cigarettes always changed.
Yeah,
could have been Winston, Tarryton. We used to mix it up just to try them.
Yep. So,
and we didn't inhale.
No, never inhaled.
We never inhaled.
Never inhaled. It was just one of those things. We were kids. We wanted to be a big shop, but we were hidden in the corner in the little alleyway. So this little kid used to follow us. Wherever we went, he was following us.
6 years
He was
old.
like 6 years old.
Sean.
His name was Sean. Yeah, I don't know. Just like he's
He was
following
a
the bigger
hanger-on.
kids. A hanger-on. So he'd come down and he'd watch us smoke. So he says to him one day, "You want to try it?" He said, "Yeah, sure."
So now we didn't inhale, but I said, "Well, here's how you have to do it. You take a puff of it, and you go like this."
This kid's 6 years old.
I was 9. Are you kidding me? So needless to say, the kid got sick. He got sick, and he did. He got sick.
He did.
But and actually, because of that, I think we stopped smoking. I started smoking again when I was a teenager.
You know the way you set that kid up?
Can I tell you?
I just want you to, a similar situation. You got to remember, I mean, I had a BB gun when I was 8 or 9 years old, Christmas present. When I turned 12, I got a 22, which I still have. But we used to we'd leave the house, put the gun over our shoulder, and we'd walk down to the Shawshene River, throw cans in the river, bottles, and shoot at them. We had a ball. I mean, it was just, when I was around, I was in the Little League. I think it was my first year, so I think 9 years old in the Little League. I used to follow the big guys, like that little kid was following you.
Yep.
And they had a shotgun, and they used to go shooting for birds. The guy turns around, he says, "Would you like to try and shoot it?" I said, "Sure." I put it up. My shoulder, it knocked me on my ass, number one.
That's funny.
My shoulder killed me for about 3 months.
That's exactly why we did it for
exactly
a reason.
what you
Yeah,
did
we
to
did
that
it for
kid.
a reason. We figured if we give it to this kid to try it, he's going to go away. He's not going to come back. He's going to get a little
And he did.
exasperated.
He did. You know,
He got really sick.
The other thing about that neighborhood that I can remember, we broke a lot of windows in that neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Playing baseball, or playing, we broke a lot of windows. But
Boarded up houses now. We're not talking about windows, people's houses.
well, no,
where they
there were
live.
some people's houses because I remember one incident where just to give you
accidents.
Gives you an example of the people that lived in our neighborhood. Remember Papina?
Yeah.
So we're playing catcher baseball in the alley. Bing, we break a window. We broke her window with the baseball, right? She looks out. She starts screaming at us. She goes to my mother because she was my mother's tenant. They're talking in Italian. Look what they did. And my mother says, done up a peanut. Well, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Calms her down. And about 20 minutes later, Pepina walks out and she brings us meatball sandwiches. That's the kind of people that lived in our neighborhood. Sam, remember Dunzavad? What's his name? Sam Teresi.
Sam Teresi. But what about Vinny Taffarel across the street? Taffy, all right? There used to be a boarding house across the street, and then they tore it down. Oh, that's we used to break the windows in the boarding house.
Because they closed it down.
They closed it down. They tore it down
So
and
we
they made
saved
the
the
whole
city
University
some money.
schoolyard. All right?
You were very good to do that.
We saved the city a lot of money.
Oh,
We
sure.
broke every window in that building.
Of course you did.
Before they knocked it down.
So they tore it down. Now we used to play baseball in that yard. And Vinny Taffy's house was right behind. They put a fence up, but it didn't matter. We used to play baseball in there.
Break a
Every
window.
time we played baseball, we broke
Foul
the
ball.
window.
Foul ball.
We
Broke
broke the
boom.
window. Now, Vinny, what's his name? Taffy, the father, worked at Raytheon. So he wasn't home during the day. But his wife, Margaret, was there all day. We'd break the window. She'd come out yelling, "Taffy's going to kill you when he comes home. He's going to kill you." Don't worry about it, Margaret. We go walk down Lawrence Plate and Glass.
Buy it.
Buy the putty. Put it in.
See how
By the time he came home, we
replace
know the
it.
difference.
And replace it. We also had the Central Theater right around the corner.
Yep.
Central Theater, movie theater, right around the corner.
Yeah.
It was a very, very interesting.
Yeah, the printing press. What was that name?
He was another one.
Yeah.
He was a bookie.
That's right. Yeah. There's nobody ever went in there. We never knew how he made business because
The guy
nobody
was
ever
one of
went
the
in and
biggest
out.
bookies in the city. He had a printing press, printing business. Nobody was ever in that place.
Yeah, it was on the corner of East Haverhill and Haverhill.
And Haverhill.
Yeah.
What was his name? I don't remember. Italian guy.
I don't know, but outside there on his building, they used to post what was playing at the Central Cinema. So that's how we knew.
What was the theater that was on Common Street that everything was in Italian?
Capitol.
The Capitol.
Capitol Theater.
I was trying to think of
did you ever go into that theater?
Never.
In our entire life, never stepped foot into that
I went
theater.
with my nana Messina because she lived on Garden Street. And she wanted to go and she wanted to see a certain film. And I took her. I barely understood what was going on, but I did.
We used to walk to the Warner Theater.
Yeah,
the Warner was my favorite.
And the Palace.
And the Palace.
But, the other thing we haven't talked about.
The Palace, they had the ceiling with the glass, the mirror, right?
Yes.
The second floor, the balcony.
Yes. The other thing we haven't talked about is the feast.
Yep.
I mean, the Feast of St. Elfio, again, that was our
Right
neighborhood.
through your neighborhood.
Right through the neighborhood. And, Wayne and I, we talked about it this past year when the feast was on, but I mean, we used to get so excited.
Yep.
And the good thing about the feast was that it was 2 blocks away, and like my house was feast central from my extended family. So I'm talking all my relatives that lived in Lawrence and Methuen and Andover and North Andover. So our house was open house for the entire weekend.
So if people didn't buy food at a vendor, they came to your house, right?
From
There was
Friday
always
night,
a dish of pasta cooking somewhere.
pasta, pig's feet, Crispelli's,
Oh, pig's feet.
all that stuff.
Pig's feet.
Yeah,
gross.
pizza.
As kids, but his mother and my mother would let us go. They'd let us just go. They didn't care. It was feast weekend. We'd run out. We'd follow the parade.
Back then, it
and
was only
we'd
2
go down
nights, right?
2 nights, Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday at 4
and Sunday.
o'clock.
So you'd hear the boom going off from the parade.
We would get so excited.
We'd run down to
we
the
would
Common,
get so
run down
excited.
to City Hall. Our parents
And
knew where
then
we
as we
were.
get older, we talked about this. Your father-in-law was in the band.
Yeah. He played the trumpet.
And one of the things we used to do that we really enjoyed doing was we'd buy a nice bag.
Shaming you.
We'd buy a
You
nice
could've
bag
joked.
of
You could've
chickpeas,
joked.
a nice bag of chickpeas,
Chickpeas.
and we'd toss them into the tuba. Into the tuba.
The guy was gagging.
Oh God, that was great. Oh yeah, that was wonderful. We used to do that. We used to do that a lot. But it was a great neighborhood.
When did the society decide to go 3 nights? Was it the 75th?
No, it was just before that. A couple of years before that. We went to decide to try out Friday night just because we got some free entertainment.
What do we have for time, Dave?
We had some free entertainment, so that's why we did Friday night. As long as it didn't cost us anything, we gave the vendors an extra night, and we had free entertainment for that night.
And then that led to the shows in the Common,
Yeah,
right?
and then we did the 75th, and we decided to go to the Common.
That's when I came on board.
Correct. One thing I want to say about the neighborhood, and I did mention this in the introduction to Bless Me Sister, and I meant this. In that neighborhood, you literally had people from all walks of life. We had politicians, we had lawyers, we had doctors, we had bookies, we had drug addicts, we had everything you can think of. We had a 5-star general.
Yeah.
General Antonelli.
Sure.
We had
just gonna mention
but the best thing was that everybody was on equal playing field.
Right.
The bookies and the lawyers,
Nobody was looked down on.
they were all friends. They were all
Matter
friends.
of fact, Joe Jafrida was a milkman in
He was
those
our
days.
milkman.
He started out
Yeah.
being the milkman.
He was our
delivered
milkman.
Door to door.
Before he passed, he told me that.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
he used
how-
to deliver the milk to our house.
Yep.
And then he became a politician. There was no animosity between any cops and bookies were friends. Don't let me see your booking,
Yep.
but they were friends. You know what I mean? That's just the way that
Because
neighborhood
it was harmless. I mean,
Right.
you're not hurting anybody. You're just having
Right.
a good time, and that's how people sometimes had to make their business.
P, thank you very much for coming on board.
My
We
pleasure.
enjoyed it. We love you. You know that. And don't forget to subscribe if you can on our YouTube channel.
Costs you nothing.
Right. And with that being said, remember, if you can't make fun of yourself, please don't make fun of anyone. And
Wayne, the word America is what?
he doesn't know.
Forget about
It's
it.
a great
It's a beautiful
Italian word.
Italian word.
Have a great week. Take care.
Audio Drama.